Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Life of a Dreamer. My name is Darian Wright. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So today I'm going to be making over my desk, and I'm super excited because this is going to be the first video in a series of videos of me making over my room. I recently moved and I decided that I really want my room to go in a totally different direction than what it's doing right now because y'all, it's a hot mess. My furniture is old, it's wooden, it's dark. I've had it since college. I'm over it. 2020 Darian is totally different than college Darian, so we're doing something totally new, and we're starting off with the desk area. So stay tuned if you guys want to find out how I make over this desk. So this is my little work area. I've had that chair since college. I had that in my dorm room. I got this desk from a woman off of Facebook Marketplace. She sold it to me for like 20 bucks, pretty much brand new because she was moving. You guys, this desk is a hot mess. It's just gotten so cluttered. Don't judge me. But let's move on with this makeover. So first I'm going to spray paint the legs of my desk with this Rust-Oleum High Gloss White spray paint. But first I'm going to tape off all of the parts that I don't want spray paint to touch. Y'all, please ignore my crappy job of covering up my desk. I really just took some cut up Walmart and Kroger bags and taped them onto the larger parts of the desk that I didn't want to get spray paint on. Even though I'm going to be covering up this desk with contact paper, it is removable. So I wanted to make sure that underneath the contact paper is still this really nice wooden look in case I change my mind later on and I want to remove the contact paper. So I let that first coat dry for about 30 minutes and then I went in with the second full coat just to get that clean polished look and to kind of cover up any spots I missed or any drip spots. And ultimately I went in for about 3 or 4 more coats, just going in spot touching up, making sure everything was nice. And I pretty much let this dry the entire day. I didn't want to touch it and accidentally get, fingerprints or anything on it. Even though spray paint dries pretty fast, I wanted to give it the whole day to settle in before I started touching it and moving it around and working on the contact paper. And just a word of advice to anybody working on a project dealing with spray paint: get yourself 2 cans. I always tell myself I can finish my project in just 1 can, and I always have to stop and go buy more cans of spray paint. So trust me, just buy multiple cans of spray paint so you can finish your project without having to stop and run to the store so many times like I did. If you don't need the extra spray paint, you can always take it back, but trust me, you always need more spray paint. After my desk was completely dry and I took it back upstairs, it was time to start covering it with the contact paper. For this, I'm going to be using a pair of scissors and a blade that I got from Dollar Tree. And I got this roll of marble pattern removable contact paper from Walmart. First, I'm starting off by rolling out the contact paper so that I can see how much I'm going to need to cover each surface. Next, I cut out each of those lengths and I made sure to incorporate extra space on the end so that I can cover the edges of the desk as well. I decided to start with the top of my desk and work my way down because I knew that the shelves would be a little bit tricky. This contact paper is like a giant sticker, so my technique was to stick down a little bit of the contact paper, smooth it, and peel back the sticker sheet as I went along. It starts off a bit tricky, but it definitely gets easier as you go along. In all, it took me about 1.5 hours to cover my entire desk just because I'm very particular about things, and also the shelves were really tricky. Like I said, I cut out most of that just because it was a mess. I decided to cover this little back wall part of my desk before the main surface of the desk because I wanted it to be a smooth transition, and also if the contact paper decided to curl up over time, this little back part would be anchored down by the main surface covering. The main part of the desk was probably easiest just because it's a large surface and I was able to peel and smooth as I went along. The lower shelves were a little bit tricky because I wanted to wrap them in one piece of contact paper instead of little strips around the edges. So what I did was I creased them along where the edges were, and I cut along those crease lines and I wrapped them kind of perfectly like a little present, and I cut off any excess where the desk legs were. And then I just completed the same peeling and smoothing technique as I did with the top. So I was gonna use this glitter table runner that I got from Five Below for $3 to cover up some boxes to put on my shelves, but I held this up to here and I'm really digging how it looks, so I'm gonna use some E6000 to apply this back here, and it's gonna be kind of like a glitter backsplash. Yeah, so the E6000 definitely did not work. It made the table runner get all lumpy and horrible and ugly looking, so I ripped it off, ran to the store, got some spray adhesive, and went to try that instead. Off camera, I taped down some paper and I taped the sides of my desk so that I could spray this spray adhesive and nothing else would get sticky but that back wall of my desk. I let that spray adhesive set for a few seconds in order to get sticky, and then I just applied the glitter runner to that back wall and smoothed it down with my hands. Lastly, I cut a hole for the cord opening and I popped back in the covering, which I also spray painted white. Now that the desk is done, it's time to move to part 2, which is organization. For that, I'm going to be cutting down these boxes so that they fit perfectly in my shelves. I'm going to use a pair of scissors, a pencil and ruler to mark and measure, and a hot glue gun to glue it all together in the end. I had these boxes laying around my house and I thought the inside lavender color was so pretty. They were wide enough to fit into the top shelves of my desk, but a little bit too tall, so I thought I'd cut them down so they would fit. I made marks about 2 centimeters lower than the height of the box on all sides using my ruler and my pencil. I drew a straight line across so that I know where to cut so that my line would be straight. I went over my lines with the blade and then I cut the rest off with my scissors. On the part where the flap is, I didn't cut it, I just used my blade to score it so that I could bend it easier, and I cut off the 2 centimeters at the end of the flap. Next, I pretty much just flipped the box inside out and hot glued all of the pieces down. Even though the box would pretty much stay together itself, I didn't want it to come undone. And this is what the finished box looks like. It's pretty much the same box, it's just flipped inside out and it's a little bit shorter. For one of the boxes, I decided that I needed to put in some dividers to separate some of my smaller things. So for that, all I did was cut out 2 rectangular pieces from scraps from other boxes and hot glue them in, separated a little bit away from each other. And then it was time to load up my box with all of my office supplies that I like to keep with me at my desk. I usually have a bunch of whiteout runners, tape runners, hole punches, paper clips, things like that. For this box, I already had a bunch of thumbtacks and smaller things placed in clear organizers, and I just wanted to put these in the box neatly. This larger box is for bigger things that I don't have to reach for too often, but I like to keep them near me at my desk, so this is going to go on my bottom shelf. I sanded down my little desk trash can because I wanted to paint it a lighter shade of lavender to match the rest of my desk. I found this paint in Walmart in the arts and crafts section for 50 cents, and I'm just going to paint it on with this clean makeup sponge that I just had lying around. I love this little desk trash can. I found it at Dollar Tree a long time ago, but I know they still carry them. It's perfect for little scraps of paper and stuff like that. After about 5 coats to get everything perfectly even and painting the wheels white, this is how it came out. I've had this chair for a little while now and it's a great chair, but I'm not digging this orange color, so I'm gonna attempt to make a cover to cover that up. Initially, I was going to buy some padding and some fabric and use that to cover up the chair, which in hindsight probably would have been much easier, but I had this padded mattress cover laying around and I decided to use that for the cover instead. I wanted these chair covers to be removable and washable, and seeing as how they are white, they're bound to get dirty at some point. So after I cut down the mattress cover, I decided to cut down an old pillowcase and use that as inside lining. I will spare y'all from having to watch the long and excruciating hours that it took for me to complete this chair cover. I am definitely not the best at sewing. I can do small projects, but this was definitely my biggest project yet. It's not perfect, but I like the way it turned out, and it'll definitely hold me over until I can get the chair that I want. After sewing in the lining, I decided to cut 4 long pieces of this lavender ribbon that I got from Walmart. I promise y'all, this video is not sponsored by Walmart. I just pretty much got everything from Walmart. But I wanted to be able to tie down my cushions so that they're not moving around on the chair. I sewed 2 ribbons to the outside edges of this bottom cushion so that I could tie them down underneath the chair. I will spare y'all the detailed tutorial of this because this design was very flawed. My measurements were off, but the finished product is going to do what I need it to do. After many long, excruciating hours of sewing and getting stabbed by way too many pins, my cushions were finally done, and now I just have to put them on and tie them down. And this is the finished product. Now it's time for my favorite part, which is decorating the desk. So that is it, you guys. I'm super excited about how my desk turned out. I can't wait to start using this area. It's something totally different for me, so I'm really excited to start using it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I had so much fun making it. Like I said, there are many more to come. This is the first in a series of videos. If you like what you saw today, don't forget to thumbs up this video and comment down below some of your ideas or just some things that you liked in this video. Don't forget to follow me on social media. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. And thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.